Well, we are just right on top of the start time here, so I'm going to start maybe just a minute early here. It looks like we've got just about everybody that planned on attending and joining us. That's wonderful. So again, good afternoon, all of you out there in webinar land, and thank you for joining us today for the fall online training for QMotion Shades. This is actually just the third time we've done this. We've done this now today for the third day in a row, and we've been really delighted at the attendance. We've been delighted at the questions that are coming through here, and we're delighted you joined us today. My name is Gordon Withrich. I'm the general manager for QMotion Shades, which is a division of the Home Run Holdings Corporation. And joining me today, as you heard a moment ago, is Ben Cutel, who is our residential business director for QMotion. Before we get into the actual presentation, I'd like to really stop and thank each of you personally for joining us today, not just for the webinar, which we think is really loaded with a lot of really wonderful information and some exciting new products, but thank you for joining us on our journey to build the most exciting and innovative window fashion products business in the market today. And as all of you, I think, are well aware, we're a new company. So I thought before we get into the actual essence of this presentation, I'd give you just a smidgen of background on us and kind of why we're here. It's kind of rare for a new company, particularly a kind of a technology-forward type company such as QMotion, to be entering the window fashions business, particularly in a pretty rough economic environment. But I think it's important for us to kind of share, what our leading goals are, or one of our leading goals as a company. And that really is to bring the beauty, the elegance, and the energy savings that automated window coverings offer to a much bigger, broader, larger segment of the market. And not only do we think will we delight the users and owners of our products, but we think we'll help make the window fashions business bigger and better by encouraging people who may not have previously considered a motorized shade or an automated shade, who would have only considered a manual product to consider and purchasing a motorized shade. So we're here because we think we can bring some great solutions. We think we can make the window fashions business bigger and better, and that's really exciting for us. And one of the key ways in which we believe that we are going to be able to help stimulate the growth of motorization in the window fashions business is by really eliminating the complexity and the associated costs with traditional approaches to motorization. That means things like running wires, which just adds additional trades and costs, avoiding complicated installations and setups. All of these unnecessary costs are being carefully designed out of the product. So here we are today, our first product lines in the market. We're growing every day. We're delighted that you joined us, and thank you for being here today. And before I turn over the call to Ben Cutel, who's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting today and really spend the bulk of the time, thought I'd cover a little housekeeping details. So we have about 35 minutes worth of material for you. Ben will go through it, and it'll probably come pretty fast. But we've left plenty of time for questions. And we're happy to accept questions during the middle of the session. So I'm going to ask you to draw your attention to the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Now, there's going to be an orange icon with an arrow, and that arrow might be facing towards the center of the screen. Well, click onto that. And as you look down upon that menu that is presented to you, you'll see a section called Questions. So if you have a question, whether it be while we're rolling through the actual presentation, we'll stop after each slide, which essentially speaks to one of the new products. And if you have a question, we'll try to catch you right there and repeat the question so everyone can hear it and answer the question. And how you do that is just simply click inside that dialog box inside the question section. Just type in your answer. I'll get those, and then I'll kind of interrupt Ben and present the question when he's finished presenting the individual products and offer you the best explanation we can. Okay, also finally, we've done a couple of these now, and we've had just a little bit of technical difficulty with the static occasionally creeping into the presentation. It jumps in about 2 or 3 seconds, and sometimes it comes in at the most inopportune time. We're not sure if that's just the state of voice over IP technology or whether it could be complicated by the cell phone thing. So I'd ask each of you if you could just pick up your cell phones and move it away from your PC, or better yet, just turn it off. And hopefully that will resolve some of the hissing and static noises that we've experienced a handful of times during the 60-minute presentation. So okay, I think that's really it in terms of the housekeeping information. Again, thank you for joining us, and I am going to once again reintroduce Ben Cutel, who is our director for the QMotion residential business, and Ben's going to lead us through the new products.
Well, thank you very much, Gordon, and thank you to everyone who's joining us today. As we get started in this discussion here, I want to make sure everybody knows a lot of this is actually going to be covered in the new product guide, which we're going to be sending out to you after the webinar, and it was just completed during the last week, so you'll see a lot of the details, but to a certain extent we have a lot more information here in this discussion, including availability dates. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So to get started, first slide there, Gordon. We're pleased to let you know that we're now offering the shades as large as 120 wide by 120 tall at 10 feet by 10 feet. This shade still powered by QMotion technology with onboard power. It's a big step forward in battery-powered motorization using 8 D-cell batteries, which will still give your clients extraordinary battery life, getting as much as 5 years depending on use. The biggest impact is not the added weight of the shade, because as you may remember, we've designed out the impact of weight on our moving shades and the batteries. What could affect the battery life is the added height, and thus the added running time to moving the shades up and down. So if the user of the shades is only making modest adjustments to the height of the shade to manage light and energy from 25% position to 75% and back, you could expect as much as 5 years or maybe even more. If, however, the shade is moved from full open to full closed 4 times per day, battery life would still be on 3.5-year battery life, which is still pretty strong. And that's assuming running 7 days per week, which in many environments might not even be the case when you consider somebody will have different usage on the weekends than during the weekdays. It's still a huge enhancement to the market, and we know that this is going to be very appealing for a lot of people. So you'll notice that we've listed October 15th as the expected availability date of this size, the 120 by 120. But I'd encourage you to start calling our customer care department if you do have a need prior to then, because a lot of this is fabric dependent. And we may have a solution for you right now and be able to help you supply that order right away. We also expect all fabrics to be ready by October 15th, but there will be some that we may have some issues with afterwards. We don't know yet, but just check with availability, and we'll support you as much as we can. And I'd also mention that in a few months soon after that, we may have some even bigger surprises for you on the sizes. So if there's any questions, if I didn't cut out on any point on there, everyone heard what I had to say?
Nope, all clear so far. Keep charging, Ben.
Okay. Good. So our next big extension here, a major important rollout, is our multi-channel remote. The first thing you'll need to know about this remote control is that it's fully backwards compatible with the existing remotes that we have right now, which means that if you already have a QMotion Shade installed and learned to our 5-button remote control, you can easily add the new multi-channel remote and its capability. But as you'll notice, this remote is not going to be available until November 15th. So to encourage you to go ahead and sell all the multi-channel projects that you may have, starting now, QMotion will initially send you a 5-button single-channel remote with your order, as we currently do. And when the multi-channel remotes come available, we'll simply send you along the new multi-channel remote at no charge. So your client will have both the single-channel remotes for each zone and the multi-channel remote for all zones. So don't wait. But one thing that's important to mention on that, make sure that you indicate on your orders how many of these that you'd be expecting, and that you would be expecting them, because we wouldn't want to miss you as we go fulfilling those promises for you. You'll notice that we have a new ergonomic design with the rounded sides with LED indicators by each zone. This is a nice feature, as the user will know by the lighting of the LED which zone is currently active. No need to remember which zone or which button the remote will tell you. Due to the shape of this remote, you'll need, if you wish to use this with the existing QMotion wall stations, we'll need to order the new wall stations in order to have the proper footing on that. So please make sure to indicate those on your orders as well. As you can see, the left set of buttons on this remote combines all of our current buttons, and it's a full lineup from top, bottom, and the intermediate positions. On the right side, this is where the user can directly select a shade or group of shades. Programming of this remote is the same as our prior styles. It's very simple. Basically, just select the channel you wish to use and follow our easy-to-use instructions for adding a remote, which those are in their product guide, they're on our website, on video, and they do come in some of the information that comes with the shades as well. The remote is programmable to 7 channels. This can be 7 individual shades or groups, and you can build an all function by adding as many shades as you wish to any of the channels. Also, a really cool feature in this remote, because when you pick it up, the active channel will indicate automatically, so you don't need to press a button to see which one is active. It's just going to light up for you. Range on this remote should be better than our existing remotes due to the use of enhanced internal technologies there. So to sum that up, that is backwards compatible, so existing shades that you'll already have sold between now and the time this becomes available, this will work for those as well. Any questions at that point, Gordon?
Well, we did, and I think you just answered it. We did have a question that came all the way from Barbados, and the question was, can we get this remote for projects just completed? And as Ben just stated, yes, you can, and when it's available, which is targeted for November 15th, it is perfectly backwards compatible. You can easily reprogram all of the shades that are currently installed with this new remote. So that's great news. It was a real key design consideration. So thanks for that question.
All right, so moving along with remote technology, our next product here is the programmable timer remote. The timer remote, it's a programmable transmitter which can allow you to build a light home automation project. These remotes can be programmed with 6 separate events. Each one can be triggered or not at particular times of days on particular days. With our standard shades, you can employ the timer remote into a room or single zone, and this will allow you to move shades to specific settings at selected times. These can be any position programmed up, down, or one of the intermediate positions. And as for the times, there can be as many as 6 events, including sunrise and sunset settings, giving the ability to truly customize the experience. These settings can be changed as needed simply by plugging the remote to a PC. You can have all of the events happen on every day or skip days or however you like. So let's go into how we can use this product. To use this remote, simply plug it in via computer using that the cable that we're going to supply with the remote. Just plug it right in and use the programming software. And one thing that you will need to do that's not part of this next bit of instructions here is to add this remote control to your shades. So you'll follow those directions as we spoke about with our multi-channel remote to learn this remote to whatever shades you're going to want to control with it. So moving on into the programming. So here's the starting screen of the program which you'll use to program the timer remotes. This is actually the only screen, and as we look at it, it's really simple. It's just broken down into 6 different boxes. On this screen, you'll see the 6 different event settings. On the bottom of the window, you'll see the time on your computer. This time will reload into your remotes. So if it's not the correct time for the remote, set the time override checkbox down there on the bottom. When you plug in a transmitter, the buttons for retrieve and apply will become active, as you'll see on one of the next slides. And instead of saying device not connected, it will change the terminology there. The button for remote, that's an interesting checkbox that we have there, because some people may not be able to reach all of the shades that they will want using a single remote. This is due to a range restriction put on this type of a device by the FCC. So as a solution, we, for now, are including 2 of these transmitters when you order 1. So you just program both, mark that checkbox, and place them in different positions in the job site. And let me just comment that this is expected to be available in a couple of weeks. Let's go forward into more about the programming here. This is actually, as I said, a very simple program. It's going to take me more time to talk about it now than it would take you to set up an actual remote in many cases. So on this screen, I selected to make an event trigger based on the time of day. Don't worry about daylight savings times because the remote is smart and will automatically adjust for those. So you can see up there I selected user defined because it's going to be a user defined action, and you'll see why that's important of the week to check and what you want that action to be. On the next slide you'll see a little bit more about what that means. So on this slide we're talking about, I'm starting to select event number 2. On this one I'm showing that I have the ability to set the events based on sunrise or sunset. Will load up with all the times for these automatically. So you don't have to program into very far in advance because the remote control is going to learn those. And you can adjust the transmitter to send any action either up, down, or to one of the intermediate positions as on your remote controls. And the shades will act at those times. If you want to raise the shades an hour before sunrise, here's how you're going to do it. Simply select sunrise, select open, and then 60 minus, which will go before sunrise. And then you choose what days of the week you want that to do. As you can see, I checked the days for this action to be on Sunday and Wednesday, but because I did not enter the zip code, the event is not ready, and you'll see on one of the next slides, on the next slide actually, what it means to be ready. So let's look at the next one there. Now this one here, I put in the zip code and I selected the days of the week. This one here is going to go up at sunrise, actually 30 minutes after sunrise, and it's going to raise on Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. And I put in the zip code for Pensacola, 32514, and it automatically loads in the Pensacola city down below for confirmation, and it will set the correct times, the correct time zone, and all of the different sunrise sunsets that you're going to need to worry about. So at that point you'll see the checkbox next to the event, or I should say the big green check, showing that that's ready to go into the remote. And I also checked off down there to say that it's a that I want to control with this. So once we're ready with this remote, we can go ahead and click apply, and it'll load those settings into the remote control. But let's go to the next one here and see. In this case, this is a remote that I fully populated with all kinds of information. So I have event 1 is set that it's going to go to preset 3, which is the 75% position on the transmitter, and it's only going to go Monday to Friday, and that's going to raise the shades at 8:20 in the morning. Event 2 is a similar setting. Event 3. Event 4, that's a sunrise, actually it's a sunset setting intended to bring the shades down every day. And in this case I set the zip code to where I am in South Florida, so it'll know what the settings are for that location. If we look down on the screen, we can see that it actually estimates what the current sunrise sunset settings are for now. Don't worry that that's for now. It's not going to always be 7:25. I know that the sunrise sunsets change. That's just what it is on the day that you're setting up the transmitter. And on the right there you can see that the button for retrieve and apply are now available to be clicked, as it does also say programmable remote found just below that. So here's how we would use that. You do all of your settings the way you'd like them to be. You don't have to use all 6 events, but you certainly can. You set up all of those events that you'd like, and then your remote control plugged in, you click the apply button, and it will load the remote with those settings. It actually takes about a second for the loading of that transmitter's information. If you want to move that information onto another remote control, to have a second remote control with similar settings, you would simply plug in the first one, retrieve from the first one, and then plug in the second one and click apply. So it will keep adding those settings to the next remote as well. Now, and if you're going to need to make a change, so your customer has an issue that they made a mistake, they told you the wrong time, or while you're setting it up you made a mistake, simply make the changes that you want and click apply, and you're done. It's a very straightforward programming system. So Gordon, did anybody have anything that they'd like me to tap into, or have you answered?
No, I think you're doing fine. No questions on this segment. So you'll have plenty of time at the end of the session too, as a question may occur to you, back to this section at the end of the slides.
Okay. So now let me see, my microphone thing is there. Okay, good. So our next device is the QConnect device, and one of the questions that we often hear from our customers is, can someone use QMotion Shades in a home automation system? Can they use it with Lutron, Crestron, Control 4, any of those systems? Well, we're pleased to announce that in November we will begin offering our new QConnect device. This is a wireless bridge to existing automation systems. The device will connect via RS-232 serial connection. It'll also have dry contact, so it'll have additional control capability. It will act as a transmitter just like our regular handheld units, just without buttons. So in the case of this device, simply provide the programming instructions and wiring details to the installer or the integrator with the system, and they will put the device anywhere that the signal can reach our shades. The device is one-way and can control as many as 16 shade groupings. So some of the questions that come up, this is, the device gets physically connected to the home automation system, and the wiring can run as far as it needs to go so that the signal will reach the shades that you wish to control, as many as 16 shades or 16 groups of shades. And it's a wireless transmitter, so it gets wired to the system. It needs an electrical supply to it, and it will transmit our RF signals to control our shades, bringing them to the appropriate positions that the home automator would like to have, or the consumer would like to have in that situation. So that's a pretty cool device that should help our clients be able to bring the beauty of QMotion control sophisticated systems.
Okay, Ben, thank you. We've got a couple of questions. The previous question relates back to the programmable timer remote. And the question is this only in single versus multi-remotes? The answer is yes. At this time, the timer remote function is only available on a single channel. We'll listen, we'll observe how things are going, and if there's a lot of demand for us to come back with the multi-channel, we can probably come back and do that as well. But at this time, it's only available in single channel.
Gordon, before you go to the next question, I would like to comment that at the price point of retail $88, this device should be very easy for people to implement a multi-unit installation if they'd like.
Good, fair call. All right, a couple more questions came in. Will this work for Lutron? And that's the question specifically relating to the QConnect. And the answer is yes. We are just actually doing our testing, but the plan for this QConnect is to work for Lutron, to work for Crestron, for really any of the other, I'll call it major or secondary home automation companies. And there's a follow-on question that comes with that as well. Do I need codes for QConnect? And yes, there will be some fairly simple programming that needs to go on within each of the systems. And we're just working out all the instruction details right now. So there will be published instruction details on how to do the programming. It'll also come with the QMotion, the QConnect product as well. So yeah, this is going to require a little I'll call it lightweight software programming capabilities to make the QMotion QConnect product work with the various home automation systems.
All right, so our next new product that we're offering here is the wall station adapter. Now, the wall station adapter is introduced as a solution for those customers who would like that recessed look with the transmitter. In those situations where we're concerned about the transmitters disappearing from a project. So this adapter is built to allow the transmitter to be installed onto a standard junction box and to allow easy access to remove that front plate, which you would need to do in the case that you needed to change the batteries or do some other sort of a change with that transmitter. It's a simple thin plate attachment that would allow our products to match up with the screw plates on that standard junction box. Just a real simple little addition and something just to facilitate that need. So I'm pleased to announce that effective immediately, we've expanded our selection on the e-screens and added to our standard line of in-stock, immediately available fabrics. and we now offer in our range of 5 colors the 5 and 10% E-screen, in addition to the 1% and 3% E-screen. Unfortunately, Mermet only inventories the 1% and 3% in the colors white white, white linen, charcoal charcoal, and charcoal bronze. The white pearl is not available in 1% and 3% as it is in the 5% and 10%. These fabrics are available immediately, as we already have stocked, and are priced in our price group B, as you'll see in the new product guide. In this chart here that you're looking at, this information is in our new and current product guide, showing the colors that are available. In the case of that top left box, you can see the E-screen 1% is showing 4 colors, and the 3% showing an additional 4 colors. Now please continue to use your existing sample books to show these colors alongside with this new information with respect to the products. There are some slightly different technical details for these fabrics, but the colors of them are pretty much the same as what you have in those samples for the 5%. It's just that they're now available in 3% and 1% to give better, or I should say, stronger light control. In addition to our standard fabrics offering, we're pleased to introduce the QMotion Special Order and COM programs. We've heard from those who have said that a customer loves a particular fabric and loves our automation system, but if the two can mix, we're stuck. So to answer this, we now offer 2 new fabric options. The first is COM. In COM, you can order nearly any fabric your customer may wish, as long as it is appropriate to use in roller shades. One of the steps we may need to take is to qualify the fabric prior to accepting your order. If it is a new fabric for us, we will need to ask for a test sample and a charge of $50 qualification fee prior to approving the fabric and accepting the order. We will need to check its weight, how it rolls onto the tube, and how it attaches. The COM products will be billed at price group A in the price charts, and you'll need to supply the fabric at your cost and have it shipped to Pensacola for processing. If the order is for 3 or more shades, we will refund the $50 qualification fee. Please appropriate quality, and it's inspected before shipping it to them, as we will not do additional inspections for defects in the material. In the same vein as the COM program, we're also pleased to introduce the QMotion Special Order program, where the COM program requires you to supply the fabric to us. Under the Special Order program, we source the fabric from additional fabric suppliers like Pfeiffer or Vertilux, or perhaps some material from Mermet that we don't carry. These will have a longer lead time and will be subject to certain surcharges to cover the added cost of servicing non-standard fabric. Rather than try and describe all of the nuances of this program, we would just encourage you to call your customer care representative and we will explain the options. Any questions at that point?
Nope, you're rolling. You're doing great. No other questions.
All right, good, good. Now, we also pleased to announce some very interesting change with our hem bar options. While the metal bottom bars are attractive to many of our customers, some would like the option of having a fabric wrapped or internal hem bar. We now can offer an internal hem bar, which will be attractively branded with our QMotion logo, just like our metal hem bars, and will work properly with our shade brackets and stoppers. The metal bottom bars are standard, so if you prefer the internal version, the fabric covered version, specify it in your order. There are no surcharges for any of our bottom bar choices, and you can make a full coordination with the room, the shade, and any other fabric treatments you may have, including the fascia, which we offer as fabric wrapped as well. Once again, we've listened to you and now offer a single roller bracket and fascia bracket system. Now you only need to mount 2 brackets and the fascia will slide into place. This bracket system needs to be specified when ordered. Refer to the product guide for more information. And the benefits of faster installation now are available to you at no additional charge. So just to clarify this for a moment here, our current fascia system, which you can still order it the way we have it described in our product guides, requires to be installed, and separately you would install the fascia brackets. In this case, what we're showing is our pocket brackets, which is the first bracket system that we're offering with this. It's in fact the only one, and it's a unified bracket that would allow you to only install 1 bracket set on each side of the shade, which would mount the shade to it as well as mounting the fascia to that. So we think that this will help to speed up installations and make those installers a little happier as they go through the process, because it should be much simpler. Now, looking at that on the right side, showing the breakdown of how together the shade, I do want to point out that we supply fascia end caps with all of our outside mount fascias. They come automatically. And if you have an inside mount fascia, you'll see that attached at the front. So you can very easily, if you have an inside mount that comes out of the window recess a bit, you can very easily score and then cut off the back of that end cap to allow it to fit better into the window frame. So now my computer's telling me that I have connection problems. Did anybody type in that they couldn't understand anything that I said there, Gordon?
No, we didn't get any questions, but we are hearing a bit of feedback, so we'll pause for just a minute here and wait for any questions.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move forward to the final slide and then handle any questions after that. So I wanted to take a moment to point out something that you might not know. The QMotion fascias, all of our fascias, with the exception of the pivoting fascias, come with a light blocking strip integrated in the top. This strip, also called the wool pile, is provided at no additional charge. It comes automatically with your fascias in installation and will leave your customers happy. We have these fascias installed in many places, and the strips provide a great seal across the top of the fascia as it comes into contact with the window frame. And these come standard with all of the standard designs of fascia, just unfortunately not with the pivoting fascia, which couldn't take it because of all the excessive movement that's up there. When you install these fascias, you need to make sure, by the way, that locking tape, that white strip that's there on your screen, you want to make sure that locking tape is installed properly onto the fascia in the right spot prior to putting it up to your brackets. And this will help to secure the fascia onto the brackets. That locking tape, which most people call it Velcro, it'll give a secondary really strong hold on that fascia. So when the fascias, if they do get bumped or they need to be cleaned, they won't be knocked out of the bracket. So that'll give a lot of security to that, and it'll help to hold the product in place. So prior to getting into the questions, I'd like to invite anybody to type in any questions that they have at this point. I do want to also thank everybody for listening in to this presentation, and jump right to any questions that we may have queued up there.
Okay. Well, that is, has been indicated, kind of the end of the prepared presentation remarks, and we'll keep the lines open for just a couple of minutes to invite any other questions that may want to come back. This is probably a good time for me to offer, a little bit of insight in terms of kind of where we're going. We're awfully pleased at this new set of enhancements and the level of innovation we're able to bring so quickly after our first initial launch of I think what everybody agrees is a pretty unique and novel setting. But we've got a really large range of product expansions targeted for the beginning of the year. So if you're happy with what you see here, I just ask you to hang on. Okay, I've got another question that had come in. Are all fabric selections available at the 120 by the 120? And the answer is yes. So some of the fabrics, for example, the Flocke comes to mind, does have some width limitations, which just means we'll have to railroad. So we'll have to railroad and seam the products, but you'll know that at the time of placing the order. We'll confirm that and make sure everybody's cool with that. So we'll be, and all the fabrics that are in our standard catalog are available to be seamed. So we're good with that. Any other questions? Okay, here they come. Can we purchase stock in your company? Congratulations. That's a nice comment. Thank you very much. No, sorry. The company is currently owned by a family. They're awfully proud of the company, but thank you for the compliment. In the past, Vizela had a 76-inch width issue. Yeah, I think that's right. I'd have to refer to the book and the product guide. Ben, do you can you help me out with that one on the Vizela? Do you know off the top of your head if
Yeah,
76 is
if
okay?
76 is the maximum width there? Is that
Right.
the question?
Yeah, it is 76 inches, and then the next question is there any issues with railroading Vizela? And also, I know there is no issue with seaming, but there actually, I may have misspoke earlier, there may be an issue with certain fabrics in terms of railroading.
There may be, and yeah, the Vizela, that's a 78 is where it is right there, but we do have a lot of this information also in our product guide, so if you bring that as a companion tool when you go out to do your sale, you'll have a lot of the questions answered, and we can always confirm anything after your time with your customer, or even during, if you can reach us during the time when we're there.
All right. Well, then one of the follow-ups that's going to come, within hours of you attending this is we are going to send you. We've got your email address, of course. So we're going to send you the latest updated version of our product guide, which refers to all of these new products. Also refers to some of the restructuring of the pricing that we took care of about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and all the information that we're speaking about here and is in that product guide, and it's really designed to be a kind of very useful reference guide. So it's something that yourself or your salespeople are out making a call. Hopefully they're carrying it with them, and it should answer any question they have about installation sizes, capabilities. The list prices are in there. Should be kind of the single one-stop reference source for QMotion. That is up on the website now without the pricing. You will get the version of the product guide with the pricing emailed to you right after the end of this presentation. And I think I'd also just add that if you have any further questions or suggestions in terms of additional webinars that you'd like to see us present, we're really happy about the attendance of this first one here. We're looking forward to building and bringing more webinars. We're considering training installations or training webinars on installation. Probably some training, further training on how to program the timer remotes, programming the Q Connect. But if you have particular ideas where you'd like to see training, then that'd be great. All right, a few more questions are coming in. Are there future plans to adapt product for use with Roman shades or other types of treatments? Well, not Roman. We are not at this point in time working on Roman shades, but we are working very vigorously on other types of shades that are non-roller like. But at the moment, we're not really looking at doing anything in the Roman area. But stay tuned for other categories. Are you going to receive another question, are we going to receive the new product guide in print form? Sure, no problem. We'll be happy to get that out to you. Not a problem at all. Installation webinars would be a great addition. Got it. We're hearing that. Heard that yesterday. Hearing it today again. So count on it. We'll be putting that together for you. All right. Final questions? Okay. Well, thanks again for attending. It's been our pleasure. We're delighted to have you as part of the QMotion team. Any questions, call our customer care department, give any of your account executives or us here at QMotion HQ or Ben Qtel a call. We'll be happy to provide whatever information, whatever support we can. Again, thanks for being with us, and we're looking forward to the journey. With that, we'll sign off. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.